right, man. We gotta get the cat out the bag.
What about the John Harbaugh, man? You was gonna ask me the John Harbaugh?
That doesn't have enough juice. We don't need to talk about that. We already talked about the Ravens earlier enough. But are the Pittsburgh Steelers a playoff team in 2021? And if so, why?
Yeah.
Okay, explain
why. The
reason
why I say Pittsburgh is a playoff team is because the offensive line isn't going to be.
I get it. You're the Steelers, but I don't know if I can give y'all the benefit of the doubt anymore. I don't know.
Why can't you? Nobody gave us a benefit of a doubt last year or the season before that. And I know you can't go things off the past, but there's a reason why great franchises are great franchises. Pittsburgh hasn't fallen off. Like, you call us the McDonald's of the NFL, and I'm not upset with that. I definitely understand where you're coming from. But at the end of the day, this is still a team that has a formula that is replicated everywhere, and you don't go 14 years without having to lose a season without doing something right. That's just not going to end this year. And Mike Tomlin has done better with way worse. This isn't the worst team Pittsburgh has ever put on the field. As a matter of fact, it's one of the most talented if you are able to look past the offensive line. You look at wide receiver. You had a young wide receiver core last year. Deontay Johnson and Eric Ebron were both top in the NFL in drops. Now he's going to come back better. He could have a breakout season. You have Chase Claypool. You have Juju back in the slot. Really good season last year despite the TikTok antics. Okay, you got Big Ben coming back. Big Ben could have been comeback player of the year statistically last season. He had a great year. As a matter of fact, last year was the most efficient season he ever had in his career. 33 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Completing over 6% of his passes. He was pretty good last season. The play calling is what held him back. You got the running game. Now you got a legitimate running back there. You got Najee Harris. You have a really talented defense. You got Devin Bush coming back. Remember, Robert Spillane was a backup, and he played really good. He won the game against Tennessee when he stopped Derrick Henry on the goal line. He was the one who made that play. You got Minka. You got Terrell Edmonds, who gets a lot of criticism. He's in the contract year. He's not a bad player. Was he worth the first round pick? Nah, but he's somewhat lived up to it. Like, if they had a redraft, you still could say I would draft him in the first round because he's been solid. Not all pro or anything like that, but he's been solid. He's gotten better every single year. Second cornerback position, like, it's a huge question mark. Not because of talent. Because there's a lot of talent, it's just the fact that we don't know who's going to be starting there. But it looks like it's going to be James Pierre, who, by the way, was an undrafted rookie free agent last season. I find it funny how the Steelers get the most out of undrafted rookie free agents. Darren Henderson, undrafted. A lot of players undrafted. So when you look at Pittsburgh, outside the offensive line, this is a complete team. There's really no issues of concern. Now the offensive line isn't going to be bad because you got to trust the coaching staff for Pittsburgh.
Oh boy!
And you got to think. The Steelers have a lot of people are hypocrites. So guys like Colin Cowherd, once again, take another shot. Last year was the Steelers offensive line is too old. They need to get younger. So the Steelers Marquise Pouncey retires over 30. David DeCastro over 30 retires. Ramon Foster old. Charlie Villanueva old. So we get younger on the offensive line, and everybody has been telling us for years to get younger on the offensive line. We finally get younger on the offensive line. Now it's the issue. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't win with these people. You get what I'm saying? Pittsburgh is a playoff football team. Pittsburgh will always be a playoff football team. And I told you this all last year around this time. The reason why a lot of people don't understand why I hit over 87% of my predictions. You know why I hit over 87% of my predictions? Because I don't look at talent. I take coaching into effect. You may not have a talented roster, but I take coaching into account. A lot of people, when they do the record predictions, they don't take coaching into effect. They just look at how talented of a team you have. Do you have a great roster or not? And you're a playoff team or you're not. That's all people do. They just take talent.
A lot of people made that mistake about Cleveland, not this past year, but the year before that.
I did too, and that's because they had the coaching wrong. And a lot of people thought that I was going to make the same mistake. I said, they just take talent.
A lot of people made that mistake about Cleveland, not this past year, but the year before that.
I did too, and that's because they had the coaching wrong. And a lot of people thought that I was going to make the same mistake. I said, I'm taking Cleveland again. They went to the playoffs. You get what I'm saying? Like Pittsburgh last season. Coaching, Bill Belichick last year. You get what I'm saying? Like a lot of people thought the Patriots were going to win 3 games. You remember that? A lot of people had the Patriots winning 3-4 games, having a top 5 pick. Like it was actually a lot of people out there who felt like New England was going to be terrible.
I wouldn't say a lot, but there were some people that thought they would be tanking.
Let me give you a better example. Washington.
Yeah, I was high on Washington.
I ain't have Washington as a playoff team because of talent. As a matter of fact, they had one of the worst rosters in the NFL outside the defense. The reason why was because
you both had them at 7-9.
Yeah, and the reason why was because I said coaching.
Rivera.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't take coaching into account. That's why I try to stress you so much. Like, for New England, for example, you say New England's not one of the best 6 teams or whatnot. And I'm telling you this because, like, their roster isn't, like, it doesn't have a lot of stars that pop out, but they have a solid roster. They have, like, a top 14, top 12 roster. And then you have Bill Belichick as your head coach that elevates everybody.
Here's the thing. JT talks about, gotta look at coaching. Let me just name the playoff teams I think are probably going to make it in right now. These aren't official, but I don't have Pittsburgh in right now. I think Kansas City, Buffalo, Cleveland, Tennessee, Baltimore, Patriots, Chargers. Now, Chargers, you can say there's some questions there, but I think a lot of people believe in Brandon Staley. I believe in Brandon Staley. Even you look at Miami. I think Miami has a chance to sneak in. Brian Flores is pretty good, but I don't know. I just think that Pittsburgh they're going to be fighting till the end. I will admit that because you do have a great head coach in Mike Tomlin. I do believe you have a championship-level defense. I think that Ben Roethlisberger, if you put a great team around him, he can still win you a Super Bowl probably. The only problem is Ben Roethlisberger last year, start off 11-0. The last couple of games, he wasn't very good. And
but that's because you got to think the Steelers didn't have a run game.
You never know.
Look, Aaron Rodgers had a run game last season. If Aaron Rodgers was put in that situation, yeah, he would have been better, but he still would have struggled. Same thing with Brady, Drew Brees, like Phillip Rivers. When you're an older QB, you got to have that run game.
Who's going to block for Najee Harris, though, because y'all lost, 4
The offensive line isn't going to be bad.
The offensive line is not good. You lost 4 starters.
No,
you're going to give me Kevin Dotson is good,
a lot of people. Y'all just assume. How do you know the offensive line isn't good when a lot of guys you guys never seen?
How do you know it's going to be good?
Because I trust the coaching staff. But also you got to think.
But you
got to think. A lot of people when they have uncertainty in life,
they just assume something's going to be bad. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to give things a fair chance. Like, you got to trust the system. You get what I'm saying? The Pittsburgh Steelers are a well-oiled machine.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are not a playoff team because
they're a playoff team. You're just using the offensive line, but the Steelers went to the playoffs last year with the worst offensive line they ever had in franchise history. What does that tell you?
Oh, well, that's a stretch right there. But hey, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where I think
coaching. You got to trust the system, man. This is where a lot of people like you go wrong with your predictions. You look at these players like your mistake with Deshaun.
We're gonna need to bet on.
You told me Houston was going to, and I told you the same exact thing. I'm telling you now.
I'm never trusting the Houston Texans again.
I told you coaching matters. You said the Texans got Deshaun Watson. I told you at the end of the day, they don't have good coaching. They're going to miss the playoffs. I told you when that schedule I told you the division was tough and they had a really tough schedule. They were not making it to the playoffs.
We're not going to talk about Houston no more.
Now you look at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has it. Pittsburgh has a tough schedule. You want to know why? Mike Tomlin has a winning record, well over 500 against teams with winning records.
Well, the
teams below 500. Teams below 500.
I don't know. I'm not a believer in Pittsburgh. I don't think they're a top.
I don't understand. I understand why, but
you don't trust the process.
You're defending your team. You're giving them
you're saying you don't think Pittsburgh's a playoff team because you don't think they got enough talent. And it's really just the offensive line.
It's just one of those things where there are more talented teams. I mean, and I look at the quarterback.
I don't think the Chargers are more talented than Pittsburgh.
But they have a great quarterback in Justin Herbert.
You made the same mistake. You made that same mistake last. You don't learn.
And by the way, the Chargers. Guys,
this man is so stubborn, bro. This man said the same exact thing with Houston. They got Deshaun Watson.
Okay, but you have to admit, the Chargers invested in their offensive line. Am I not right? The Chargers' offensive line is going to be a lot better.
They still have concerns. They brought in 2 players.
That doesn't matter. Rashawn Slater and Corey Linsley are great players. Like
the Steelers didn't invest in their offensive line. Trey Turner was a former 5-time Pro Bowler.
Trey Turner was bad last year, though.
Last year's the only because he was injured. He only played in 8 games.
How do you know he's going to be good this year, though? You don't know
because he's going back to Pittsburgh. You asked me what makes Mike Tomlin such a great coach, and I told you
the fact that Mike Tomlin elevates every single player on that team, and that's facts.
Well, I don't think Pittsburgh is a top 7 team.
Tell me 3 positions. Tell me 3 positions that the Chargers are better than Pittsburgh.
I'm not breaking all that down. First of all,
you can't tell me the Steelers aren't going to make the playoffs and not give me no facts behind it. You see that? That's one thing that I always test about you, man. Like if you're going to have a claim, I want some legitimate facts. I'm giving you legitimate.
You know what? I'll give you some facts. First of all, here's the reasons why I don't believe. First of all, I think I'm going to bet on Ben Roethlisberger potentially declining at the end of the year because we saw the signs. We saw the signs. 11-0, and he was bad at the end of the year. He was not very good. Couldn't push the ball down.
See, that's another thing. The play call, Big Ben could throw the football down the field. That was the problem.
You can say
it was the play calling.
You can say Matt Canada's going to be really good.
It was the play calling.
You can blame the play calling, but you're still installing a whole new system.
Okay, but this isn't COVID.
That doesn't matter.
This is a full off season.
You still have growing pains. Even Aaron Rodgers had growing pains. I'm just saying.
Matt Canada isn't even changing the offense. He already came out and said that we're doing what Big Ben wants to do, what he's comfortable the most with. We're not changing anything. The only thing we're going to change is a little bit of wrinkles. We're going to be a more physical football team. We're not going to keep throwing those shakedown passes. We're going to do a Big Ben. Basically, what he's saying is Big Ben runs this offense. Big Ben's probably going to be calling his own shots this year.
And Did you know that not the same quarterback?
Did you know that Big Ben called all of the plays in the second half against Indianapolis last season?
That's good. That's good for him. That was one game.
We came back and won.
That was the one game he was great in after like week 15.
And he called the shots, right? You find it crazy? The greatest game he had, he was calling the shots.
Greatest game. I mean, you never know. But at the same time, you look at Pittsburgh. Y'all gotta face some big dogs this year. Buffalo. I know you're gonna say, "Oh, Mike Tomlin has us prepared." Listen, you're not gonna beat these big dogs. Okay, you might beat Buffalo week 1 because I think Buffalo is overrated, but you're probably not gonna beat Green Bay. You're probably not gonna beat.
If I'm not gonna beat Green Bay, why can't we beat Green Bay? You make it seem like we can't beat these teams at all.
I never said that. I think Pittsburgh's going to be in it to the end.
Pittsburgh can beat any team on that schedule next year.
Right, but they're not.
There's not a single team that we can't beat. And Green Bay isn't more talented than Pittsburgh. Like Green Bay just lost 2 starting offensive linemen. You lost your starting center Corey Linsley. Off your guard.
They've been the NFC Championship.
You lost your guard, and you don't have any linebackers. Who's your linebackers?
You don't know them because you don't watch the games like I do.
And you don't know the offensive line because nobody watches the games. My whole point.
These are new stars, though.
That's the problem with people in the media. You guys are hypocrites. You're hypocrites. You have the New York Giants going to the playoffs. This is what I don't understand. You went to the playoffs.
The Giants have a really good roster. They outside of Daniel Jones.
They have a better roster than the Steelers?
No, but they're in a weak division.
Right then.
They're in a weak division, though.
But your only reason for why Pittsburgh isn't making it to the playoffs is the offensive line. I don't understand.
No, it's not. It's because I think
what other positions are there? You're still on the Big Ben train?
Yeah,
you just said
and plus there are better teams out there.
You just said that. Oh my God,
just because Pittsburgh is talented doesn't mean there aren't other talented teams out there. Like, for example, in their division, Cleveland's just better. Baltimore's just better.
I can name you 9 teams more talented than the New York Giants.
You probably can, but they're in a weak division. And they've improved their roster tremendously.
They're not in a weak division.
Yes,
you got Dallas, who's a playoff team. You got Washington, who's a playoff caliber football team.
You know this Dak Bortles crap is overrated, bro. Don't start overrating the Cowboys. Come on.
Dallas has a good team.
Dallas is led by Mike McCarthy. Very disqualifying.
But at the end of the day, their division is still competitive. It's not like you have 2 teams in the AFC North who are Super Bowl caliber football team.
Let me tell you something right now. Cincinnati isn't a pushover anymore.
They're not. But they're still going to get destroyed by every other team in the AFC North.
No, I'm not done. You don't end this segment. You still haven't given me 3 reasons why. Because I'm telling you, I did the same thing. I already debunked your Pittsburgh isn't one of the best teams in this division. They're a better football team than Miami.
All right,
they're a better football team. They're a better football team than the Chargers.
It's close between them and Miami.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Miami has no linebackers.
Miami has an incredible
roster.
roster.
Have any pass rush.
Miami has an incredible roster.
You're not even sold on Tua.
I know I'm not sold on Tua, but I'm sold on the players around him.
All right, then.
But am I that sold on?
You didn't say Tua's better than Big Ben.
No. I said, but I'm not all that sold on Ben Roethlisberger anymore because we saw Ben Roethlisberger.
But you know what you get out of Big Ben, though. You know Big Ben is good enough to get you to the playoffs. I don't know if Tua's even good enough to win me a close game. He got pulled out in every tough situation last season.
I don't have Miami in the playoffs. I'm just saying that the roster is close. Okay,
it's not, but Pittsburgh still has a better roster at the end of the day.
All right.
Okay, then. What about the Chargers? What about the Chargers? What about the Chargers? They may have a slightly better offensive line and running back, but we have more talent on defense than they do.
All right. Let's end this segment by.
Oh man, this man. This man, you still like give me other two reasons why the Steelers won't make some.
I'll give you a bunch of reasons, and then we'll move on. Okay. First of all, I don't trust Big Ben anymore. Big Ben is going to decline.
Didn't you just say that Big Ben is still good enough to win if he has a good team around him? The Steelers have Deontay Johnson.
The Steelers are not that good anymore. This team is not as good anymore.
So you just mad? So you just changed your opinion in 15 minutes?
No, I didn't.
You just changed your opinion in 15 minutes?
I did not have the Steelers as a playoff team heading in, and I didn't change it then. So that's one reason. I don't trust Big Ben late in the season.
First of all, guys, that he's stubborn.
First of all,
you just said your one reason that he had Steelers. So this man, bro, y'all hearing this, right? This man literally just said, my first reason is that I didn't have the Steelers as a playoff team before this, and I don't have them in there. So you're stubborn. That's the first reason.
No, I'm not.
You just said it.
So Big Ben's one reason. Second reason, last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hold on. Didn't you just say that Big Ben was good enough to win against the Steelers to the playoffs if you have a good team around? The Steelers have a good team around them.
But not as good as last year. Definitely not.
Bro, he has a better team this year than last year. The offensive line was old and banged up.
That offensive line is not going to be
you're telling me a wide receiver core. So you're telling me a wide receiver core that was top 3 in drops last year isn't an upgrade from a wide receiver core that now everybody's going to know how to catch the ball this year?
But what about the offensive line? The offensive line
last year was injured and old.
Exactly. It was a decent offensive line. When healthy, the offensive line was decent. But now it's a whole bunch of new faces.
The offensive line is decent.
No, it's not. You don't know that though.
You don't know if it's not.
So you're okay.
But I'm saying that the coaching staff.
We both don't know. So if we both don't know, you have to respect my opinion. So I'm gonna respect yours. Okay.
But you're not accounting coaching. Mike Tomlin has already proved that he gets the most out of every single body. And the Steelers went to and the Steelers off the line was so bad. Why did the Steelers still go to the playoffs?
Because they played a weak schedule. They played a weak schedule, and they had a championship level defense.
They went 4-2 against them. They went 4-2 against playoff teams.
They beat Indianapolis. They beat 7 teams and they beat
Indianapolis. And they beat Indianapolis.
7 of their 12 wins.
Did they not beat Indianapolis?
Indianapolis is not that good.
Indianapolis was a playoff team, sir. Indianapolis was a playoff team, sir. Indianapolis was a playoff team.
Just because they are a playoff team doesn't mean they're that good.
Playoff team.
It doesn't matter.
They were a playoff team. Oh, so now it doesn't matter, right?
No, it doesn't.
But you just said Steelers didn't play nobody. But we played a playoff team in Indianapolis.
Indianapolis was an average playoff team last year. You're acting like Indianapolis was in the Super Bowl conversation.
Wow. You see, this is a problem with people in the media. They try to construe things to fit their narrative. So this man is going to try to say that Indianapolis was an average team last year.
Despite the fact that they were not a special team.
Hey, you guys in the comment section, see how people try to twist the narrative. Last year, Pittsburgh didn't play nobody. Played against 6 playoff teams and went 4-2 against them.
7 of your wins were versus non-playoff teams.
Wow.
7 of your 12 wins. So that's over half of your wins were versus non-playoff
Nobody in
teams.
division. Nobody in the AFC North won more than 12 games. The only team in the AFC North that won 12 games last year was Pittsburgh. Cleveland went 11-5 and Baltimore went 11-5.
And Baltimore and Cleveland right now
are better. What's the point? I don't even know how many teams in the AFC won. Bro, like Pittsburgh beat Tennessee.
Don't you have Pittsburgh going like 9-8?
9-8, 10 wins. Still playoff caliber. And I said the same thing last year. I had them winning 10 games, and they overexceeded my expectations. You act like I'm overrating Pittsburgh. I'm not overrating Pittsburgh. You're underrating Pittsburgh.
Because you think they're a playoff team.
You're underrating Pittsburgh. They're a playoff team. They have Mike Tomlin as their head coach. You have to account for coaching. And I understand you can say, well, Mike Tomlin hasn't did nothing in the past.
All of the teams that I have in the playoffs, 6 out of the 7 teams have great coaches. Like
Brandon Staley, we don't even know what he's going to do.
You don't know about the offensive line.
Coaching, do they have better coaches than Mike Tomlin?
Say it again, couldn't hear.
Which one of those teams have better coaches than Mike Tomlin?
That's a discussion for another day, but they have better rosters.
No.
We know Mike Tomlin is really good.
You gotta see this, right? We got this on live recording right now.
Yes,
you gotta see what he's doing. You see how he tried to say better coaching, but Mike Tomlin isn't one of the 3 best coaches in the league.
I know he is, but
he's the second best coach. He's like the second or third best coach in the AFC.
Of course, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are not going to make the playoffs. They're just not. And we're going to make a bet eventually.
Stubborn. So his first reason is he's stubborn. The second reason
I have a bunch
he
of
doesn't
reasons,
trust Big Ben. Now, you guys in the comment section, remember, and you said this too, didn't you? Or did you not just say 20 minutes ago that the Steelers can definitely win a Super Bowl with Big Ben if you have the talent around them? Steelers have the talent around them. And I think a wide receiving core that was top 3 in drops last year that's going to be better this year is going to be a better supporting cast. Then you have a better group. You have a better running back in Najee Harris. That's not talent around them. The offensive line is not going to be bad. You also got to remember, the Steelers threw the ball more than any other team in the NFL. Yeah. Big Ben led the league in pass attempts. They were one-dimensional. Now they're going to be balanced. They're going to be able to run the football effectively.
Old aging quarterback team that won.
Aaron Rodgers isn't old and aging.
Aaron Rodgers just won a league MVP. Excuse me, sir. You gotta admit that Aaron Rodgers is still a bad man,
bro. Tom Brady isn't old and aging.
Yeah, but Tom Brady has one of the best teams of all time by his side.
Oh, wow.
The Buccaneers are stacked.
And Pittsburgh has a good team also.
Pittsburgh is all right. They all right.
The only hole that the Steelers have is off the line. It's not even a hole. It's just the fact that you don't know how good it's going to be.
It's among one of the worst offensive lines in the league. I'm sorry.
Because you don't know how good it's going to be.
Well, we'll have to find out how good it's going to be.
Now, give me your other 3. Because I already destroyed your other 2 reasons. You're stubborn. I don't know how I can argue with that. Big Ben's aging, but you just said 20 minutes ago that the Steelers can win with Big Ben. Now you're saying that the Steelers.
I told you they're applying a new offensive system too with Matt Canada. There will be growing pains.
Bro, Matt Canada is not changing the offense.
You don't know that.
He already has said this. He said this in a press conference. What are you meaning? What are you talking about? He said this in a press conference. What you mean I don't know this? He said this verbatim in a press conference. Are you serious? So this man, how you going to say he didn't say that? He said it out his own mouth.
Yeah, but we don't know that for sure.
What you mean we don't know that? He said it. Big Ben's literally going to be calling the plays.
Go out on the field and
he's literally going to be calling his plays. Literally.
We shall see.
So what about Justin Herbert? He's learning a new system.
Yeah, but I trust Justin Herbert because Justin Herbert is a stud right now. He just came off the ground.
How you don't know Justin Herbert can have a sophomore slump?
He's not going to have a sophomore slump.
How you know that?
Because I know. I'm a genius.
Oh, how you know? But yeah, you know, but you don't know the Steelers off the line is going to be good or bad.
You don't know that either. So
and you don't know it neither. My whole point, we're hypocrites. You're the bigger hypocrite. You just 20 minutes ago. This is where you lost me at. 20 minutes ago, you just said that the Steelers can win and make it to the playoffs with Big Ben if he has talent around him. He has talent around him. All of a sudden, you can't win Big Ben, and then you think he's going to regress. You cannot predict regression.
Yes, I can.
You said Big Ben was going to be that good last year. How many times are you going to continue to bet against Big Ben? Are you just going to keep going until you get it right?
I will be right this year because this will be his last year probably. And then
doesn't mean he's going to regress.
And then Dwayne Haskins will take over.
Doesn't mean he's going to regress.
Yes, he will regress because we saw.
How you know that? How you know that?
We saw it last year.
You know any QB can regress,
right? Final 5 games.
You know any QB can regress, right? Carson Wentz was considered to be a top 10 QB. He regressed out of nowhere last season.
Yeah, but I was never a big believer in Carson Wentz. I was never a big believer in Carson Wentz. You tried to come on my show and tell me Carson Wentz was better than Aaron Rodgers heading into the year. You said that. I said
that.
Yes.
I think you got me mistaken with somebody
No,
else.
I didn't get you mistaken. I remember. I got a
But
good
even
memory.
then, I didn't say you didn't say he was going to regress. You say he was going to go from that to the worst QB in the league. Now you might say
that was an anomaly. That was an anomaly, though.
But wow. So you're basically saying that was the first time you ever wrong?
No, I didn't say that. I always admit when I'm wrong.
Like. So basically, your first two reasons for Pittsburgh not going to the playoffs is one, you're stubborn.
No, it's not.
You literally just said that. You already said it. You literally just. So did you or did you not just say this? You said that I already didn't have Pittsburgh going into playoffs, and I still don't have this conversation. So you're stubborn.
Well, just because you have some facts that you want to bring to the table doesn't mean it's going to change my opinion. It's still my opinion. I don't have to change my opinion for you because you bring in some facts that I don't agree with.
And then the second one is you don't trust Big Ben, but you just said that Big Ben is good enough to win a Super Bowl if you have a good team around.
Both things can be true.
What's your other third? What's your other reasons? Please, I gotta hear them, man. And don't try to end the show because I want to hear that. I want to get all your claims.
I want to move on to Joe Burrow. Let's move on to Joe Burrow. I'm doing
that.
We're moving on Joe Burrow. We've been on this thing for about 25 minutes.
You really gonna do this to me?
Yeah, because you've been ranting for way too long.
This man has ran.
I didn't want to rant for this long.
Criticism said about Pittsburgh. He wants to go to Joe Burrow.
You saw the text message I sent you. We got a bunch of topics to talk about. So I don't want to spend all that time on this.
We should save this topic for last, man.
We probably should have, but. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.